Today we are talking about bullying, and to my left is Simone Alicia, who is the self-esteem doctor, and we're here with 5 courageous kids and teens that will be sharing their personal stories with us. So thank you guys for coming.
Thank you guys for being here, and thanks for having me.
You're very welcome.
So of course we know that bullying has tons of different effects. It can bother you mentally, physically, it can be a problem in a lot of ways. So I'm curious to know how bullying has affected you guys. So who wants to let me know? Okay, go ahead, Peyton.
We had bathroom break one time because I started at a new school and I heard her leave the bathroom and I tried to leave the bathroom, but she was holding me in the bathroom. She locked me in the bathroom. I couldn't get out.
Oh my goodness, and what did you do?
I managed to get the door open and I ran to the teacher and I told the teacher, but she didn't really believe me. So
Really?
nothing really happened.
Well, number one, excellent choice to tell the teacher. I'm super happy you got out of there safely. And tell the teacher anyway, even though that might not have worked out right away, like telling the teacher didn't seem like, it did anything. I still want you all to know, do you know you should still always tell about these things? Yeah, do you guys get the value of that? Yeah, so I'm really happy you did, and you might be helping someone next time because if it happens, that teacher will be like, wait a second, someone already told me about this. So it's really important that you did that. Really good. So does anyone else want to share their stories with us? John?
Back when I first started school, a bunch of people started making fun for my stomach and touching my stomach, and it really affected how I felt about how I looked, to the point where I started pushing my stomach inward so it looked like I was a bit thinner, and it really started to hurt me.
Wow, so we have different examples of how bullying can look. So this one you were physically held in the bathroom, and this was more emotional, making fun of you and who you were and how you looked. So who's next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
When I was little, I was bit by a dog. As you can see on my lip, I have a scar. And when I was going to camp and stuff, kids will make fun of me, saying that I'm not pretty and I'm ugly. And that really affected me a lot because it wasn't my fault that it happened. And I just think kids just care about how you look and not care about how you are on the inside.
So where are you now with all of that?
I just don't care what people say anymore. It doesn't bother me. It's not important to me anymore.
I love that.
Yeah.
Really good.
Can I ask, how do you get to that point of no longer caring?
Well, because since I'm older now, I understand better because I was little. But it just got me to the point where it's not even worth fighting back to people and arguing. So I think it's just the best to move on and just try to be myself.
Love that.
I can kind of agree with John with the whole thing. There's an image that everybody wants to have. Like me, I might be a little chubbier than a normal girl. And so I'd feel like I'd have to change in order to fit in with that look. But I would kind of at first, in 7th grade, I was really inconfident. And I really wanted to lose weight and just change myself to fit in with that. But it's harder than it looks, kind of. And I didn't have that motivation. And so I just started kind of pretending to be confident, because I heard people would tell me even if you're not, confidence is attractive and confidence is good, gives off a good vibe, I guess.
Right.
So I was okay, then I'll pretend. But in pretending, it kind of gave me confidence too.
Nice.
If that makes sense. I feel like every girl is different and every girl is beautiful in their own way.
Agreed.
And this year I felt more confident in myself than I really ever have. So that's good.
I love that. Really good. And hopefully we can get a lot of kids on that same page with you. So, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
And Isai.
I don't really feel like I've ever been singled out for anything in specific, but people in middle school, they could just be cruel sometimes, especially around 6th grade. So, yeah, they were mean to me. Sometimes it would make me feel bad, but I just ended up not talking to them, ignoring them. I didn't need those people in my life.
Really good. You have some good strategies in place already. Awesome. What do you think happened in that 6th grade spot, around that time? Why do you think it kind of...
I think around that time is when people, I don't know, they're conditioned to value popularity, social standing, and they feel that being mean to another person would, put them above them.
We all come from different backgrounds, shapes, and sizes, and we find ourselves still being treated like we're different, or that we don't fit in, or that no one likes us. And what we eventually learn to find, like Jordan mentioned, is you start to really believe in yourself and have that confidence So, and Isai, like you said, surrounding yourself with the positive people that aren't going to put you down.
Do you think we have control over our self-esteem?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, because we can be happy, we can be sad, we can have like multiple different emotions.
Agreed. And we're in charge of those emotions because of how we're thinking. Like, this is what we don't realize sometimes. So I want to give you, and I want all kids to have, like, almost like a plan. So number one, sometimes we're going to feel negative emotions, and we're not trying to run away from feeling any emotions. If you feel sad and you want to cry, I want you to be able to have an emotion. But also, like Jordan said, we don't want to live in that emotion forever and ever and just start to think it's normal. What we really want to be able to do is get in here, in our mind, and start to shift how we are thinking. I want to think differently about myself, because after I think a little differently, then I start to feel a little differently, and then I can act a little differently. So there's a combination of things that happen there. Number one, if I'm more confident, as you said, when you're showing that confidence, how do people respond to you when you look really confident? How do they respond?
It changes the way people look at you a lot, how confident you are in yourself. I noticed that too.
What do you do?
Like when you're more confident, you kind of, people will treat you like that.
Like they're no longer focusing on that part of you because they're seeing the more confident side come out.
Yeah.
So then, when you show the more confidence, when you demonstrate that, right, and you can do that by the way you sit, the way you stand, the way you talk, the eye contact, the things you say, or the way you respond. I mean, there's a lot of ways we can show our confidence. And what I want you to realize is that is actually one of the things that doesn't make us such a target anymore. And target meaning like someone that's like an easy, like, yes, I'm gonna bully you. So when we wanna take that heat off a little bit, we can turn up our confidence just a little bit, and we can notice that the response we get from other kids is completely different. Were there any words, Jordan, that you kind of said to yourself, or thoughts that you had that kind of pushed you through?
A lot of times I'd be like, you know what, I don't care. This is how I'm gonna look, and I can't really change that, so what's the point in overthinking it?
Gotcha.
So just like act confident, and eventually I might become confident.
So what you did when you said I don't care, you actually practiced some self-acceptance. Another thing I want to say though, if you have already been bullied, if you've had someone, or you have someone that's kind of on your back, or whether it's really physical or emotional, or of course we know social media, I want you to, this is the theme I want you to keep in your mind. Don't help the bullies, right? It sounds obvious, but let me break it down. Don't help the bullies means when I protect them by not telling someone, I'm helping them. Secondly, if they say something nasty to me or about me, that might happen in that one moment. It might happen a lot, but that moment that it comes out of their mouths, okay, that's their responsibility. They did the wrong thing. But after that, have you ever thought about how much time we spend repeating those words in our minds?
It's like a broken record.
So they did it that time, and then we picked it up and like, I'll continue for you. Oh, you're right, I'm horrible, I'm this, I'm that, right? And we continue the bully's work. We don't want to do that. So it's kind of hard to like, oh, I'm just gonna ignore it. So this is where you have to replace it with those positive things about yourself. You know what, I'm not gonna listen to that because I'm strong, I can do it, I don't care, I'm just gonna accept myself, this is gonna work, I'm gonna focus. And you try, and it's not always easy. Just be willing to say, you know what, I'm better than this, I'm better than how they're treating me, and I'm gonna practice until I get this.
I think there are new ways to bully, especially with, the internet and all these new things coming out. For instance, when Jordan talks about, that confidence, you chose to be on your own team. When you're believing what the bullies say, you took your own self off the team. So why should anyone else become your friend if you don't even like yourself? It's really important to make sure that you like who you are, or you work on accepting who you are, so that other people will want to surround or to be around you as well.
And be careful what you compare yourselves to. So to me, when I see a lot of social media posts and things in the magazines and the TV, it's so much airbrushing and tricks and things. It's just not real sometimes what we're trying to aspire to. So number one, if you keep that in your mind, it can help you in some cases to focus and realize what is the perfection that I'm going to, because it's different for everyone.
Sometimes it's hard though, like when people say something, like a lot of times my first reaction will be to say something back.
Right.
And it's kind of hard because you don't want to say something that you're gonna regret later. Because, I mean, everybody's done that.
Right.
Everyone said something that they wish they didn't say. Because there is a difference between sticking up for yourself and then being mean back. And then you kind of need to find the difference and make sure you're sticking up for yourself and not being part of the problem.
I mean, we could become the bully from like saying like comebacks, like if they're saying hurtful words and then like you're saying them back, and actually like you could keep on going, and then it will get like too far into it, and then you'll actually become the bully, and then they'll become the victim.
And I think like you should be careful with who you hang out with, because it might be other people that you don't know, but it can also be your friends that could talk behind your back.
A lot of people admire the people that ignore them or treat them bad. Like, I've seen a lot of people that they're just hanging out with people that they just treat them horribly. Like, they're constantly mean to them, and they always want to impress them. And that has a lot to do with, you know, psychological tendencies. Like, oh, you want to impress somebody that's ignoring you, right? But, I mean, there's no point in that.
Right, and it's part of low self-esteem also, because you're reaching for someone else to accept you so you can feel good about who you are.
Excellent job, guys. And I appreciate you sharing your thoughts on this, you know, talking about speaking to someone directly rather than going behind someone else's back. Both of you touched on being careful of who you have as friends around you and making sure that they're the right types of people that you would want to surround yourself with. And you both kind of touched on it's important how you react and respond to it so that you don't become the bully. And even sometimes laughing it off and knowing that it's not true, and why do I need to continue, you know, this vicious cycle. So, Simone, do you have any final thoughts?
For sure. Number one, I want to say congratulations to all of you, because we've all been through things, and I love the different ways you have all handled it, and the fact that you're still growing and learning, and that you're willing to share your stories and our perspectives so that we can help others. And just to take away from this, I want you to really realize that how we're thinking is so important. We just don't give it enough credit, but what goes on in here truly can empower us and let us know we have the courage to talk to our friends, and we can have the courage to get over whatever the limitation is that we think, and we can talk up when we see something going on beside us or around us. We can laugh things off. We can just take a different perspective, but that starts with you really getting in here and saying, you know what, I can do this.
As we have heard today, bullying can be quite devastating and have long-lasting effects. If you are being bullied, tell somebody about it. If you are uncomfortable with certain comments or actions being made towards you, tell a trusted adult. Do not let the problem continue.